MLW is finally back after a long 7 months of being out due to COVID. They just came back with their first show, episode 111 of Fusion that they're calling The Restart. I had some interest in it. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, why not? Let's check out this episode of MLW. I haven't actually watched the full-length episode since maybe like either the beginning of this year or maybe like the end of last year. I haven't watched MLW in a very, very long time, put it that way. Last time I watched it, I thought it was good. Like, I never disliked MLW. I just never had a reason to consistently stay watching it. You know what I mean? Like, I was always kind of busy, and it was just never my priority list. But they've been hyping up this restart. They've been hyping up the return. I'm like, you know what a better time than ever to check out this show. So, that being said, MLW Fusion number 111, The Restart. Let's go. I said let's go as if I had some intro ready to go. I've been on YouTube for like 9 years and I still don't have a professional intro made. Like, I don't know what I'm doing in my life. But anyway, yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy Tyler Mask, a.k.a. Tyler Kuhn Williams, a.k.a. Tyler Suplex on Twitch, and also the one who thought he lived. And welcome back to another video, guys. We are here. I haven't actually created, like, independent contract for this channel, so this is going to be something different for the Tyler Mask YouTube channel. It could go very well, it could go very, very badly. I don't know how it's going to turn out. So if you guys like this content and you want to see more, please do me a favor and hit the like button so that way I know you guys want to see more engagement, and it helps the algorithm out. And with all that being said, you can also get some more other content up here if you guys want to see that. I've been moving a lot of my content over to Patreon lately, which is why I have been uploading over here. And if I do upload, it's clips from Patreon or it's clips from Twitch. And I say, well, let me not neglect people who've been like subscribed to me on YouTube, and let me just send something out. So MLW is something that I've been looking into. I just got finished watching Fusion 111. I thought overall it was a good comeback show. It really got you into the mood. It got a lot of gears moving, and for me, who I consider a new viewer because I haven't watched the product in almost a year, I was pretty enticed by it. I mean, I might even go as far as to say I might check out next week's episode. That's how good I thought it was. But let's start from the very beginning. So the show starts off with this cool little video package showing you MLW from the very beginning when they were underground, going into the return of Fusion in 2018. I believe it was 2018 when they returned. And now where they're at in 2020 with MLW before they went off air, and now they're back. And it was a nice promo package. It's a nice little video package. I thought it was cool. What I thought was kind of weird is how they went from the video package straight into an entrance from a wrestler by the name of Alex Hammerstone. It was just an odd transition. Like, they went straight into Alex Hammerstone's entrance, and then they transitioned into the announcers who are talking about the upcoming match card. And then they hit the intro to the show. Like, I felt like the sequence of events just seemed out of order. Like, I would have personally went video package, MLW intro, announcers, then Alex Hammerstone. But they went Alex Hammerstone, announcers, MLW intro. Like, I don't know. It seemed like a weird way to get from point A to point B for me. And it's not something that I think ruined the show, but it was just something I feel like, as someone who, you know, does video editing, it just seemed like a very odd directional choice to go with, but that's just me. So from that odd sequence of events, we got our first match, Alex Hammerstone versus Dugan. I don't think they can mention the guy's name. Like, he was literally just a job guy. I've heard of Alex Hammerstone. I never had seen him wrestle. This is my first experience of seeing what this guy can do. The bell rung. He literally hit him with a lariat, and then he hit his finishing move, and that was it. 20 seconds. And I know it's 20 seconds because MLW put this new thing, and I really want to say it's new. I may be forgetting that they've done it before, but there was this bar at the top of the screen that showed the time, like how long the match is going, and then like one corner shows the champion or whatever, and then the other corner shows the challenger or something like that. And I thought that was a nice touch. It gives you a sports feel. It reminds me very much of how UFC kind of does their fights. Like, you know, you have the clock in the corner, the fighters in each side. You know, it gave me sports-like vibes. And you know, for a company like AEW, who started off saying, oh, we're going to be a very sports-based company, we're going to come across with, we're not going to do as much entertainment and all that kind of stuff. MLW in this one episode showed me a lot more of a sports feel than AEW almost ever has. And I'm not trying to take this opportunity to dig at AEW, but I definitely got this vibe that I think AEW probably were saying they were going for. I got that a lot in this episode of MLW. And that's something I should point out here that I really, it stood out in my opinion. I really enjoyed that much. So Alex Hammerstone did win the match. I got a bit of a Goldberg vibe from him, and you guys know I'm not really a big fan of Goldberg, but I got the good kind of Goldberg vibes from him. Like, he's a force to be reckoned with, you know, one of those big tough guys who tries to run through his opponents. At least that's what I got from this one match. He could be wrestling a completely different style in the next match, but that's what I got from here. After that, we got a promo package from Injustice, Myron Reed and Jordan Oliver. I mean, I'm not going to really talk too much about the promos. I'll say what the context, but I'm not going to read word for word what they said. But basically, it was an interlude into the next match, which was for the MLW Middleweight Championship, Myron Reed of Injustice versus Brian Pillman Jr. And once again, going into that sports-like aspect that MLW presented, they had a tail of the tape as soon as the match was about to start. They showed you the only thing they didn't show was the age, which I think would have been a nice touch, but they showed the height, the weight. Like, I just liked the way it was presented to me. And then the match starts off, and they had the little bar at the top. The commentators, they were very much on their game. I cannot for the life of me remember who the names were. I'm so sorry. But they were on point all night. And this is one of those wrestling shows during the COVID era where I can honestly say it honestly felt like it was better without the crowd than with it. Like, I don't know. There was some atmosphere about there being no crowd. Now, they did do the whole WWE thing where they kind of dub in some crowd noise. Like, it's not complete WWE where you get the chants and the claps and the very much fake "this is awesome" chants. Like, it was just the ambiance of people being in the arena. That's what we got during the show. But that was really all that we had. There was nobody in the arena. It was very much like New Japan Cup this year, where these guys wrestled each other and there's no one in the crowd. But I felt like for what they were going for, it very much worked in my opinion, and I didn't have a problem with there being nobody in the crowd. So as we're about to get into this match, the entrance music starts for Brian Pillman Jr. and there's a shot of the MLW entrance curtain and it doesn't come out. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's an angle he's getting attacked or something. So then they play it again. And it's playing for like another 15 or so seconds. And he still doesn't come out. And I'm like, are we gonna get an angle out of this? Like, it just seemed like what they were going for was taking a very long time. Like, I think the span which they cut to the curtain to which they went to a commercial break was like 30 or so seconds, and it felt like a really long time for them to try to tease that he may not come out or whatnot. And then they went to a commercial break. During this commercial break, they did a little teaser for Leo Rush. He's coming to MLW very soon. I'm excited for him. They also plugged MLW Radio, and then we saw like a commercial for an attorney regarding opioid stuff, which just seemed kind of out of place, but you gotta make your bank somehow, I guess, with the ads. They come back from commercial break. Brian Pillman Jr. theme song plays once again, and then he comes out. No scratches, no bumps, no bruises. He just comes out, gets in a ring, and waits for Myron Reed. And I'm like, well, that just made no sense. Like, what was the point of that whole angle? Were you just teasing the fact that he may not come out? Like, I get that was probably the idea, but I felt like that did not need to happen. It just seemed kind of unnecessary. It felt like a waste of time. Even though it was only 30 seconds, we could have really easily used that 30 seconds for something else. I'm just saying. So Myron Reed comes out with Jordan Oliver, and they have a pretty good match. I mean, it went about 10, 11 minutes. Myron Reed used a lot of his aerialistic and strike-heavy moves onto Brian Pillman, who was keeping him very mat-based. He distanced some suplexes. He had some moves. He had some chops to deliver of his own, but Brian Pillman wasn't really meeting him at his pace. I mean, there were times where he went air Pillman, like, you know, his father used to do, where he would do like that crossbody from the middle rope and do like a crossbody from the middle rope, the leap onto the middle rope and then the crossbody. Like, he would do some things like that, but he wasn't like trying to fly like Myron Reed was. He was doing suicide dives or whatnot and doing springboards. Myron Reed was definitely showing off in this match, and I think I really enjoyed the clash and the mesh of styles that we saw in here. There's actually this one pretty rad move where Brian Pillman had Myron Reed locked in this, like, I don't know how to describe it, but he had like, and I've seen this move done in wrestling before, but I cannot tell you what it's called. But he had like both his arm and his legs clutched in this submission while he's on the ground mounted on top of them. He has his chest protector on, I guess because, you know, dangerous neighborhood. So he takes the little strap from it and he starts tugging on it. The referee, for some reason, doesn't see it. It must be Red Shoes' son or something. Not Shota Unamo, but like his other distant son who can't see shit as well. But he starts tugging on it. The referee can't see. Then he sees it and they start counting. Like, it was a nice little intricate move in there that I thought was pretty cool. But outside of that, we get straight into the finish. Myron Reed went for Brian Pillman went for a running knee to Myron Reed. He misses and knees the chest protector in the corner. This leads Myron Reed to get him up for an air raid sign, which he calls the Captain's Crunch. And he gets the pin, so Myron Reed retains the MLW Middleweight Championship. Like I said, good match. I really badly want to call it solid, but I hate calling matches solid, so I'll just say it was good. Wasn't anything to go all your way to see, but, it's on the show. It happened, and, I was pretty satisfied with it. They went from the end of the match to the replay and straight into the post-match interview that happened backstage. And Myron Reed called out Leo Rush, so I guess we're getting Leo Rush versus Myron Reed in the future, which I might tune in for because I'm looking for some Leo Rush consumption in my life. The dude's really talented. He's going to be a Super J Cup, but that's literally next month, so I need my fix of Leo Rush. So if we can get Leo Rush versus Myron Reed next week, I'll be here next week. LA Park and his goons had a promo, which I'll be honest, I was taking notes. I didn't actually read what they said. It was in Spanish, so they were on the show. Then we got a bit of a teaser from Contra, the top faction in MLW, which we've been getting teasers from them literally all the entire show almost. Their manager, which, like I said, new viewer, I don't know what the manager's name is, or if they mentioned it, I totally did not hear them. He was talking about he was in the mountains of Asia, basically setting up soldiers for the upcoming war between MLW and Contra, and that Jacob Fatu's still in MLW, and he's just going to wreck house, and, content. I guess there's this kind of like this interwoven storyline between Contra and Selena De La Renta, who I don't know if she still is the I don't know what her position was in MLW, but like the statesperson or manager of MLW or whatever. But it was kind of revealed during the show that the reason that Contra has been getting through and hacking the show so many times is because they were paying off Selena De La Renta, and she was giving them airtime. Allegedly, that's what Conan says. But then we got the reveal for the upcoming Opera Cup, and they were kind of building this thing up like it's very prestigious and professional wrestling, dating back to the early 1900s, with guys like Stu Hart and Larry Zbyszko were in it, competed for it, and it's being brought back. They had one in 2019, and Davey Boy Smith Jr. won, and having one again this year, which, oddly enough, I thought they already started one this year and then they stopped it, but maybe they were going to and then COVID hit. So I don't know which one of those two happened, but I'm pretty sure they were going to start it earlier this year. But they revealed the brackets that are coming up. It's starting next week. In this bracket, we have Tom Lawler versus Rocky Romero. We have Laredo Kid versus ACH in the left side of the bracket. And on the right side of the bracket, we have Low Key versus Davey Boy Smith Jr., the winner of last year, and Richard Holiday versus TJP. You also have some guys in here who are put in as alternates in case anybody in this tournament has to go down for any reason, which I'm actually a little upset because there were a lot more guys in the alternate for this tournament that I would rather see in the tournament, like Jordan Oliver, he's really good. Daga from AAA is really good. Dominic Guarini. Like, I'm literally looking at these alternates and I'm like, well, damn, why aren't they in the tournament? Like, I really want to see these guys compete. Like, can they have their own, like, little tournament where, like, runner-up faces the Opera Cup winner? Or something like that. And here we had some words from Davey Boy Smith, Richard Holiday, and the Von Erichs, which I don't watch MLW, so a lot of these promos really don't matter too much to me. But the Davey Boy Smith one did give a bit of a, once again, a build-up for the main event, which was Jacob Fatu versus Davey Boy Smith for the MLW Heavyweight Championship. Getting straight into that match, that was also a pretty good match. I mean, well, good match. I don't know if I would say this is better than the match before it. It did have a very different style. You had two bigger guys in Jacob Fatu and Davey Boy Smith Jr. I don't want to say he trumps over Jacob Fatu, but he's definitely bigger, heavier, and taller than him. So that was very much a different dynamic for Jacob Fatu, who I absolutely loved. And for nothing at all, he gives me very big Umaga vibes, and I was a huge fan of Umaga growing up. I just always thought he was so awesome, and he had this really badass like Samoan Bulldozer character and just the style that he wrestled, and I think Jacob Fatu may be slightly more agile than Umaga was, but just I saw a lot of the same moves, the way he carried himself in here. Obviously Umaga didn't speak English. Well, apparently he didn't speak English. Jacob Fatu, when he was on the mic, this dude was very visceral and in your face about it, and I really appreciate that as well. But in this match, it was almost like a hoss battle. In the very beginning, they were shoulder blocking each other, and neither man would go down. Eventually, I think Jacob Fatu went down. D-Boy worked over him. Like, there were points where D-Boy Smith would kind of, like, not manhandle him, but it was definitely taking over the match. And the way commentators were building it up, it was like Jacob Fatu's never been down this road before where he's getting beat down like this. It did end up going in his favor towards the end, at least when Jacob Fatu was going for a top rope move, and D-Boy Smith kind of stopped it and went for a power slam. But as he was walking, his lower back, he griped it, and he had to let go because Jacob Fatu was kind of, harnessing that throughout the match. And as soon as he let go, Jacob Fatu kind of like super kicks him right in that lower back area, follows that up with a Samoan drop, and then hits his moonsault, which I thought was really impressive. He literally leaps from the middle rope to the top rope, and then does the moonsault, which is really cool. It's almost like Christopher Angel's doing the best moonsault ever. He hits that onto D-Boy Smith and gets the pin to retain the MLW Heavyweight Championship. After the match, he calls out anyone on the roster who could take him. By name, he mentions Alex Hammerstone, which I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be good. Like, Alex Hammerstone's been getting some wins from what I've been hearing, and he had a really dominant performance tonight, so this makes sense. Alex Hammerstone actually comes out, and they're going to come face-to-face, but then he's attacked by some guy in a mask, which Alex Hammerstone fights him off the first time. And I don't know if it's a different guy or the same guy, but then they come back and they start beating him down with the chair, and then that's really the end of the show. We see that masked man, who's obviously with Contra now, kind of standing tall with Jacob Fatu, and that's how we go off air. Like I said, I thought it was a nice comeback for MLW. Nothing that I think is like super, you must drop everything and go see, but if you have time, I would say definitely give it a watch. It's short, it's sweet, it's to the point. I feel like 1 hour wrestling shows is definitely something that I longed for. I mean, NXT used to fill that void, and then they went 2 hours. There really hasn't been that 1 hour wrestling show for me in a while, so this might be something I might look into, just to have that little short consumption of wrestling to have. Hey, if they stay consistent, I'll stay consistent. That's how I see it. But either way, guys, that was MLW The Restart. If you guys watched this episode, what did you guys think? Comment down below, let me know. And if you haven't watched it already, do you have interest in watching it now? That's all I have to say. I love you guys as always, and I will see you all whenever the hell I come back. Peace out, guys.